What's up? What's up? It's your boy Mr. I Does It All, and I'm back with another little video. So today is February the 28th. I believe the movie A Woman in the Front Yard just came out today. It may have played, another day prior to this in other places. I don't know, but in the surrounding areas, it came out today. So I went and seen it, the 7 o'clock show. And I was real disappointed, but it wasn't nothing. I was expecting it not to be good. I mean, what movies are good nowadays? You know what I mean? I went in just knowing that it was going to be some BS. So anyway, uh, I tried to find a few reviews on YouTube discussing, giving a nice little explanation as to what happened, but I didn't see any. So I'm making my own little video about what I feel. So we're gonna jump right into it. So first of all, the movie starts off with the woman and she's watching this video, right, of her dearly departed husband. And I guess the story went that her and her husband, it was raining and he got into a car accident and that's how he died. So, you soon find out that the mother really hasn't been being a mother. She's been depressed and staying up in the bed. She has a broken leg and or fractured or whatever, and she's been staying in the bed. She ain't been mothering. And the oldest boy, he can't be no more than 13, 14, I think. Maybe 15. I don't know. I doubt 15. I don't know. But he's trying his best to maintain and take care of his little sister and make sure she eats, and trying to feed the animals and the dog and all of this. And at this point, the lights had just got cut off. He goes in there and he tells his mom, like, look, she's in there watching a little video of her and her husband, her dearly departed husband, laying in the bed together, making kissy faces and smooching and laughing and giggling. This little video they made, she's stuck on that. He's like, Mom, the lights are off, and blah, blah, blah. So he's down there trying to make breakfast and stuff, and eventually she gets up out of bed and she comes down there to, I guess, finally see what's going on and see what the turmoil is that this boy's going through. And in the midst of all of this, the boy ends up, he has to go outside to tie up the dog. And when he comes back in, he says, "Hey, Mom, who's that woman outside?" So they all look, and they don't. She's out there looking, and they're all looking, and it's like you think to yourself, what kind of satanic business is she in that she done conjured up this demon? Because it's a woman in all black, looking like some clothes that a widow would mourn in or something. So anyway, uh they sit there and they watch this entity or whatever sitting out in the yard, and they make a few attempts to escape or whatever, and some things go down. They get into some arguments and stuff like that. You have to watch the movie to get the full details. I'm just trying to skim over some stuff just to give my point of view, like how it don't make sense. So then eventually it gets to the point where the boy is just fed up, you know what I mean? And the mom's finally out of the way, and he goes and he confronts the woman with a gun, and he's like, "Who are you? What do you want? Get off this property now. I'm gonna shoot you on the count of 10." And she was like, "Well, your mother's been lying to you," and she tells her, and I guess she tells him to go ask what really happened, and he goes in there and he asks her, and she finally says, "Well, me and your dad got into an argument, and they stormed out of the restaurant. They was at a restaurant. They was eating good. Everything was going well. They stormed out of the restaurant. She grabs the keys. She wants to drive. As they're driving, he's kind of, still talking to her. They're not arguing. They're having a discussion. Or if they are arguing, it ain't like a loud screaming, whoop, whoop, whoop. It's a disagreement. And he's still kind of just talking to her as they're driving, and she's kind of just looking at him, rolling her eyes or whatever. And then it's not clear whether she did this on. It's not clear to me whether she did this on purpose or not. But she wasn't paying attention on the road. It was raining, and I know all of a sudden she looks up and boom, she gets hit. But it's like, were you purposely on the other side of the road? Were you trying to kill both of you? So anyway, that's what she tells the son that happened. That, you know, and he's all upset and depressed and stuff. And then things start happening. The one that like shadows and all of this and stuff getting thrown around, and the little girl is getting snatched up by shadows, and some crazy stuff start happening, right? So in the midst of all this, the woman, she goes into one of these little dazes or whatever it is, where now she's laying in the bed where she's reenacting the scene with her husband, the scene that she was watching on the cell phone. She's reenacting that at this point, and she lays down on the bed with the husband, and she's just so happy, and they're hugging, and then she looks at the tattoo on his arm. She realizes it's backwards. Then I think she looks at something on the wall and sees that it's backwards, and she looks at the clock and sees that it's backwards, and I guess at that point she realized something was wrong, and she kind of tries to snap out of it, but all of a sudden he throws something over her head. We really know it's the little demon lady or whatever. Throws something over her head and tries to choke her out. Then I think it cuts back to the scene where she's back in the normal world, right? And like I said, some more things transpire, and to make a longer story short, you come to find out the demon that is plaguing their family is her. It's supposed to be an internal battle that she's having with herself. And the thing and the entity kept saying, tonight is the night, tonight is the night, tonight is the night, is because she was like, well, the entity is telling her, what have you been asking for? And the woman's like, I've been asking for help. She was like, and then the entity says, help for what? She says, to help to get myself back together for my children. She's like, no, that's not what you've been asking help for. You saved one bullet, you threw the rest of them away. She said, you got one bullet, and you know what that bullet is for. So it's at this point when you realize she's contemplating suicide, and she's been doing it for a long time. So she's talking to the entity, but she's really talking to her inner demons. But she's talking to the entity or whatever, and asking about, what about my kids? And she was like, the entity was like, hey, you can set them free too. So she made the kids leave, I think, so that she wouldn't hurt them. And she makes the kids leave so she wouldn't hurt them. And it is implied when she was making them leave, the little girl gives her this little panda thing that she's been carrying around, some little stuffed animal. I don't know if it was, I can't remember if it was a panda. I don't know what it was. It was black and white though. Could have been a penguin. I don't know. Teddy bear. But the mothers just sent the kids away. It's dark. It's nighttime. She sent them away to walk miles away to a nearby farm, because they're on a farm. Sent them walk miles away to a nearby farm with nothing but a flashlight. So it is implied that her and the demon has gotten the shotgun to the point where it's up underneath her neck, her head is tilted back, and she has her finger on the trigger. Where she looks over at the stuffed animal. Then next thing you know, the scene cuts to her running outside, and the kids running back saying, "Mommy, mommy, mommy," blah blah blah. And it is implied, but I think at this point it's either one, they want you to imagine what happened for yourself, or two, they wanted to do some slick shit and see how many heads it can go over. Now, me personally, I think she killed herself, right? Because when she goes to the kids and they're going back to the house, all of a sudden the lights just magically come back on. So it's like, okay, something's wrong here, because one, lights don't just magically come on in the middle of the night. If you ain't paid your bill, you're going to have to wait till the next business day to, pay something, set up an arrangement or something to get them to cut that. Somebody going to have to come out there and cut it on. Well, I don't know, they got these electronic devices now. They can cut them on from remote locations, remote locations. But anyway, the lights just miraculously come back on, and the dog runs up. Now, mind you, it is implied earlier in the movie that the dog was murdered. The dog just disappears. You know, it was out there on the train on a leash, and next thing you know, it's gone, and nobody knows what the dog is. So it is implied towards the end of the movie that the dog has come back, and the lights come on, and they're all one big happy family. They go in and they're loving and kind, loving and but then it cuts to the photo, cuts to a photo of I guess what's supposed to be the mother because she was a artist, a painter. I guess it must have been something she painted of herself, some redemption of herself with all these colors and whatever. And the name that was signed was backwards, showing that she was in this day's world or whatever she was in, which implies to me that she killed herself, right? She shot us. She blew her brains out, and now she's in this magical land world where everything is perfect for her. But what doesn't make sense to me is if this was all internal, if this was a battle that she was fighting in her mind, then how did the kids see the demon? Did they ever see it? And if not, then how long went, what was real and what was fake? Was she in bed the whole time? Where were the kids the whole time? You know what I mean? Like, did they really indeed see this woman? Like, did they get into the arguments? It's just, it's not clearly explained. It's like a half done movie. Even when it was going off, I knew it was going off, and I'm like, it got to be more. It got to be more, and then the credits start rolling. So, like I said, and then that little girl, she kept writing all the R's backwards, but everything else was written the correct way. So that leads you to let you know they were in the correct reality at that point, at least based off the actions of the movie. That's what they would imply when all the words are written correct way, left to right. Then that means that they're in reality. But when they were backwards, they were in that false reality. So if throughout the whole movie everything was written the correct way, then that means that she was in regular reality, right? If not, it just does not make sense. What happened to the dog? Who killed the dog? If the woman in the yard was really her, you see what I'm saying? If it was her consciousness, if it was an internal war that she was having with herself, how did the kids see this physical entity sitting in the yard? I don't know, man. I guess I have to wait a couple of days for someone of who really gets the movie to put out a review on what they think it was and watch it to try to get a little bit more context or a better explanation or understanding myself. But in a nutshell, I think the movie was not that good. It wasn't worth to go. It wasn't worth to see. It wasn't worth the money. It wasn't worth the time. People jumped up so fast to walk out of that theater once that movie started going off because it's like, what the hell did I just watch? So anyway, man, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comment section about this film if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, I hope you didn't watch this video because you're going to get, you if you did, maybe you like that. I don't like to be told to move before I watch it because it made me not want to watch it. I don't even watch a full trailer. I watch a few minutes of a trailer just like this movie. I watch it, not a few minutes, a few seconds of a trailer, and then if I see what I need to see, I'll be like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So that's what I did to this movie. But let me know what you think about it, and yeah, I'm out.